There are still many great competitive drives going on. The Porsche 924 of genial Jürgen Barth is the leading two-man crew in 10th place, but is running 4th on the road, hard up against the Commodores.
Hi guys, Scott here from Outlaw Garage. We've got some Porsche history hitting the channel today with a Porsche 924 historic rally racing car.
James here, RSR Classic. We're back with a 924 Round Australia rally car, which is built by Alan Hamilton back in the day. Quite an early car, 1975 924. First ever 924 in the country, and a lot of Porsche wizardry has gone into this car.
The Leichhardt River is about 300 metres wide here. Bart's little Porsche, with its short wheelbase and raised suspension, has no trouble.
And we're here with James again. Previously we've been here with a collection of GT3s.
Yep.
We're just going to start and we're going to go through this because not a usual car that we have on the channel, but absolutely a very rare Porsche. Racing rally history, homologation, some strange stuff with the year, with this being a 924. And we're going to go through this because this has got Australian history, Porsche history. This is a rare find.
It was built by Alan Hamilton, the Australian distributor for Porsche, back in the mid to late 70s. It was built for a rally that lasted 2 weeks. It was called the Repco Reliability Trial in 1979. This is a 1975 model chassis.
This is the Repco Reliability Trial. Melbourne, August 5th, 1979. 167 starters, including 24 overseas entrants. Many highly competitive, even more hoping just to make it back here in 2 weeks.
It's the first ever right-hand drive 924 and the first ever 924 in Australia. Being quite an early car, it's quite different to, I guess, the production-based ones, which came later. The direction was given from Porsche to enter this rally in 1979. There's a lot of documents and a lot of homologation documents that came with this car, and very specific way to build it, particularly suspension, and to make it very reliable. Underneath the car it's not normal 924. Everything's basically turbo, so turbo gearbox, turbo suspension, but on top of that it's all been modified in a very specific way from Porsche. I've got some of the documents here at the moment. We're still waiting on the big file to come that we do have. It was built to, let's say, turbo specs, but with no turbo for reliability.
Yeah, because I guess and we'll talk about the rally in a bit, and I think we've been able to find some footage on YouTube where we'll be able to insert it into the video of this car actually in the rally, which is astounding, really. We cover a couple of things. We're not going to take it out on the road today because it doesn't run. I think we'll see that when we pop the engine lid, but we will be back for a bit of a run when there's some work done here. And like we said, we've got some inserts from the rally, and we're going to go through some of that. So we're going to talk about the car today, but actually the rally event as well, because some of the things they went through on that rally and the distance that they did in the short period of time, that would not pass any compliance test these days. Those boys did that was a thing.
So basically the rally, in my understanding, was 18,000 kilometres around Australia, just like there's a map on the door cards.
20,000 kilometres in 14 days around the vast expanse of the world's largest island continent.
Sometimes they were driving for 2 to 3 days straight, and there's a section in the video from 1979. They're just delirious. The two drivers, Jürgen Barth and Rowan Kuzmol, they are just absolutely delirious when they pull into one station.
Even more in need, the two-man crews. In the German Porsche, Roland Kuschmal has driven the last leg with the instructions on his lap, while Jürgen Barth surrenders to the pain of exhaustion. But the torture is relentless.
So yeah, certainly wouldn't be able to do that today. And there were no helmets back then, there were no fire suits. These guys were just dressed in safari t-shirts and pants, and it was just like they were going on a drive.
It's crazy.
Crazy for what happened back then. wouldn't be able to do that now, but certainly the preparation of the car was amazing. 9th outright and 1st in class.
9th outright,
so
1st in class.
Peter Brock won the rally. The Holden dealer team won the rally, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. A whole bunch of other cars in there. Colin Bond was in there. A lot of famous drivers, even guys from around the world came in. Rally drivers from around the world came in for that race, just like these two guys did. They were Porsche factory drivers. They were sent out from Germany just to do this race. It was a big deal back then, and it was a proving ground for reliability, of course. And because these cars were being launched to market, I mean, they were launched in 1976, but the turbo was coming out in 78, 79. It was a good place to sort of prove the front engine Porsche's reliability. And the same with Holden and their Commodores. The Commodores were brand new in 78, 79, so.
Dusty station tracks taken at these speeds are horrific on tyres and suspension, and a real test on the drivers. They have to balance their drive between speed and the need to preserve the car. Every second lost at a gate can be vital.
I guess we'll open this up. I'll just grab that. So the original bonnet is fiberglass, and this car has remained very, very original from back then. This car's never been really changed or modified, apart from the engine. So it is currently got a turbo engine setup.
Yeah.
So that's not the way it was in the rally. The plan with the car is to mechanically restore it. So everything on the mechanical side of it will be perfect, and we intend to keep the body as is. We'll clean up what we can, but we don't plan at the moment to do any painting or anything like that. Car has basically all its history. It's showing its history on the outside, and a lot of people have said to myself and the owner, don't touch it, which is what I was in my talks with the owner, that's what the plan is. I think that's the best way to approach it. Leave the body as is, clean up the interior, and mechanically everything perfect again.
Porsche drivers Jürgen Barth and Roland Kuschmal look absolutely shattered, but their humour shows through their discomfort. How's it been?
Not too bad. We really enjoy it, I mean, apart that it's quite rough, or really rough. Sometimes we're sitting in the car and we really laughing because we can't believe it that it goes over there. But I would say it's really fun for us.
Have you had any trouble with the car?
Not so much. We had little troubles, but that's normal,
Well, what's it like when there are only two of you? You can't have a rest while you're on the road?
No, but we're making quite a lot of jokes at Nullarbor, this piece where we have a lot of stones in the road. We started a big discussion in the car, who puts the stones in the road? If it's the rabbits or if it's the kangaroos. So this discussion we couldn't finish because we couldn't find a solution. But anyway, the next day we found the place where they make the rocks, when we had to go over them, and so we keep us quite happy in the car. We don't need to sleep so.
It's been parked up since Rennsport.
Which, for people, that 6 years maybe?
Was it 2016, the last one?
Oh, well that was, that was a little while ago then.
That was the last time this saw daylight, basically. It is essentially a factory entered Porsche rally car.
Yep.
Porsche Cars Australia did the entry, so it was basically a factory effort, factory drivers, factory direction in the way to build the car, and off it went. Yeah, we'll try to preserve all the history as much as I can. I love restoring these cars and keeping the history with them, because that's the importance of them. This is not just your everyday modified 924. There's a couple of other cars around the world that did, Rally Kenya, a couple of other rallies around the world that were built similar to this, and they're one-offs, just like this is a one-off. It's a one-of-one rally built car for Porsche. So this is just some of the paperwork I printed off this morning. We do have a file, quite a thick file, with a lot of geometry adjustments and the way to build the suspension. There are pages and pages like this. It's all in German, so I'm going to have to scratch up on my German, I guess. Homologation papers, there's you know, obviously quite a few of these. I did note here it's a Group 3 now. Whether that's a Group 3 rally car, I've still got to investigate that. But you look at engine manufacturer, it's Porsche AG and Auto Union, being Audi of course.
Yeah.
That's the car getting built in, I guess, the late 70s.
There's the boys there.
The boys there, so Alan Hamilton and a couple of the other guys. I've got to go through, look at all these paperwork and try to work out what's what on the car. I guess this is how it started, the rally, nice and clean. And after 2 weeks of being pushed pretty hard, you know, that's the car still resembling pretty well.
The two Porsches of Jürgen Barth and Edgar Herrmann are 8th and 9th.
Didn't finish the rally looking like that. I know that all these bars were missing by the end of the rally, and there was a lot of there was a lot of things that were missing, but you know, the car still
fell off, bumped off.
Yeah,
and you can kind of see the patina on the car. It has been well earned.
You know, it still has, I guess, where they had the stickers. If you look at some of the photos, now some of the guards may have been changed over the years. I've got no idea, but you know, there's a lot of areas where the patina shows through. I do know that there was a second fuel tank in the back.
Okay.
So somewhere in the back there was a second fuel tank. A lot of things like the spare wheel well was deleted, obviously for clearance. There's actually a muffler under there. Wheels would have been kept in that spot, and the roll cage is as it was, but there would have been a second fuel tank somewhere in here, because there was a fuel filler that did go through one of the side windows. And
you look at the distance that they were travelling.
Oh, huge distances. Yeah. You know, covering thousands of kilometres, and some fuel stops were a day or a day and a half away.
No service is allowed, so most use the spare time for a well-earned rest. This is day 4, and they've had only one night's sleep since the start, with something like 28 hours before the next in Perth.
Huge effort back then.
Yeah. And I think we will look for it on the video, but I think you'd also said you'd seen some old photos of it where that bump there had actually... That's been there for some time.
It's been there for a very long time. I mean, there was also a bar across here with a big antenna.
Yeah, okay.
Because Porsche Cars Australia entered a 911 as well. So that 911 did the London to Sydney marathon or rally, you could call it. So that car also was part of this team, and they've got the same sort of antenna, you know, bar set up. The interior still remains very original. It may not look the neatest, but a lot of the gauges and switches are exactly as it was back in the rally when the car was built. Certain switches and certain buttons and everything that was needed for those rallies, and that's all they needed. They needed something very basic. You know, all the fuses are right here in case something goes wrong. You can see exactly what goes wrong.
Yeah, and big switches as well, because when you're hurtling along, you don't want to be trying to mess around with
the ignition, the fuel pump up there that you're looking at now.
Yeah,
the start button. All that was modified and changed. All the fuse gear. Interior wise, pretty basic, of course.
The seats are lovely though. I know they're weathered, but geez, that's a
Recaros.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
I don't believe they're the ones that were in the rally, but they were something similar, and I've got them. I do have the other seats.
Yeah, they've been well used and well worn, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have. But you know, going on with this car, this was still an active rally car from what we can understand up until 2007.
Yeah, because it's still got a... Is that a Tassie sticker on it?
No, that's New Zealand rally. New Zealand. This car had done 2 Targa Tasmanias with subsequent owners, of course.
Yeah.
And then this one here is a Rally New Zealand sticker. I did speak to the previous owner, and he did take it to New Zealand. I think he told me twice. I spoke to him 2 days ago. He's taken it to New Zealand twice. It's also done, as I just mentioned, a couple of Targa Tasmanias. There are a couple of more stickers on the roll cage. So like a Three Peaks Rally, which is Northern Victoria, up in the high country. So certainly been an active rally car. So the number plates are still the original ones.
Really?
And yeah, in all the photos it still has the original number plates, which are the ones that are on the car. And also the registration label, everything is still, it was registered up until 2000, actually it's actually later than that. Up until 2016 it was registered on these number plates, which will obviously try and put it back on the number plates. The owner does actually own those as personal plates now, so we can't lose them, and the car will go back on these number plates.
Frank Johnson's Volvo, fourth at one stage, has now missed 12 controls.
Mechanically, the plan is to completely refresh everything, rebuild the engine, gearbox, torque tube, suspension. The entire mechanical side of it will be essentially brand new. Plan is to get another 924 engine and do a complete rebuild on that and make it somewhat of a hot engine. We're not going to go silly with it. This engine is not the original one. This is a turbo setup at the moment. Talking to the previous owner, the engine actually blew up in a rally in New Zealand. They found a turbo engine, they put it straight in. As you do, you just got to get on with the job. So that's the plan, you know, complete suspension refresh, everything brand new. So yeah, as I was mentioning before, everything underneath is basically 924 turbo. You will notice some very tricky, there's double shock absorber setup. Yeah. So in here, there's like an extra shock mount. That actually goes to the top of the, of one of the suspension mounts. So there is a double setup. So, you know, looking at the old photos of when the car was built, that was there. And during the rally as well, you can actually see the shock absorber poking up through there. There's a metal frame that's been built underneath as well that I can see in the old photos. It's still there. It would have been stone guards and all that type of, you know, bash plates and things like that.
Out of the car for the 30th time in 24 hours, Jim Reddy-X and Jeff Beaumont wearily plot a course to get the Citroën through. Andrew Cowan, in 20 visits to Australia, has never been here before and not likely to want to come back.
So yeah, that's the plan, to get it back to, I guess, original mechanical condition, but everything's sort of brand new on that side of it.
There we go, a bit of Porsche history has hit the channel today, and I hope you've enjoyed the historic racing footage that we've put in this video. We will be back to see this car as it evolves over a period of time, and I think we've been to James's a few times and not had the opportunity to kind of drive some of the cars, but I think this one is going to be different. I don't think we'll be going off-road, but you never know. So please stick around for this car. Give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you later, guys. See ya!